The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the member's best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Greg Kerwood out of Local 25 in Boston, and we're going to be covering everything peak related, to the dates, to what we expect this peak season to be like, and you know what we predict what's gonna happen after this peak season. So, Greg, I'm gonna get into the first thing, the dates. There's in the contract, there's dates all over the place when it comes to peak season. What are those dates?
Well, the important dates to remember, one of them's already gone by. People who don't want to give up work to SSDs needed to get off the 9-5 list by September 1st. Hopefully anybody who is concerned about that did. Second thing is that SSDs can start on November 1st. If they're hired from the inside, if they're hired from outside, they can't start until November 16th. The outside hires have to be done by the day after Christmas, and the inside SSDs can keep working to January 15th. The second big thing is 8-hour requests. There are no 8-hour requests in November and December. And then the last big thing is 9-5. There's no 9-5 protection between November 15th and January 15th. So those are the big dates to keep in mind, especially if you're planning on filing 9-5s or 8-hour requests, or if you're having people who want to be SSDs, or you have SSDs who are working that aren't supposed to be.
Awesome. And another thing to keep in mind, everybody, that there's a lot of supplemental language on top of this. Of course, we can't get into that, but, you know, talk to your business agent, talk to your steward, find those dates. So, Greg, peak season, been through many, many, many moons of peak seasons in our lifetime. What do you expect? What's your vibe that you're getting so far? Do you think this is going to be a clean peak season, or do you think we're going to be buried in boxes?
Well, if I was going to go off the company's attitude, it seems to me that they are not expecting too much insanity based on their lack of preparation. That can go one of two ways. They could be correct, in which case it's not going to be crazy and their preparation is adequate. Or they could be completely incorrect, in which case we will be smoked for peak because they didn't hire enough people and they didn't plan correctly. I'm getting the impression that with the loss of Amazon volume and things like that, that it may not be crazy and they may be correct in their planning, or at least close enough so that we don't all get screwed. That would be my guess, but you do never know. The public is fickle, and sometimes they change their things. Our peak has changed a lot over the years. It's not the same, ramp up to Christmas Eve that you and I remember from back in the day. It's now more of a post-Thanksgiving Black Friday push, and then things sort of dwindle down from there. So it's a little different ball game, but we'll know come the week after Thanksgiving whether we're ready or we're not.
Yeah, and I've definitely seen in the past where Amazon can't process all their volume and they'll just dump it on us because they don't know where else to put it. There's only so many ways you can get a box from point A to point B, and we're one of those ways. So no matter what, we're in the pickle with everybody else. And just like I was talking about before in a previous video, FedEx has started closing down hubs as well. And it seems like all these companies are trying to do this like cost cutting, running on a skeleton crew type of situation, which we'll see where this ends up. I actually want to do a video in the future covering all this stuff, so I find it very fascinating. Greg, now let's look into after peak season. I mean, we're seeing they're starting, at least in my center, they're starting to hire some new drivers. I feel like we still probably need more, to be honest with you. But, I mean, what do you expect after this peak season?
Well, given the company's attitude of the last several years now, I would expect probably some pretty severe layoffs to go on come January. They seem to be intent on running this company with about 20% less people than they need. Whether that works or not and it looks like they're going to stick with that plan. Um, the volume drops after the first of the year. They always run it lean because they're trying to boost those profits for that first quarter. So given that and, the lack of hiring this past summer and their overall attitude, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would guess that layoffs and that sort of thing are going to be pretty ugly come January, February.
Oh yeah, I plan on it too, or I feel like it's coming, And I think if you look actually at our video from a year ago, we kind of have predicted this. It's like a vibe we get before it happens, but we've been here for a very long time, and it seems like the company is trying to keep cutting, and there's only so many ways you can do it. So, Greg, bonus. We're gonna bring a bonus thing into this video, and that's the 2 remaining days. We had contract language for our 9/5s for the 2 remaining days. It got a ruling at the panel. Can you explain what happened?
We did not win. That's what happened. We've had that language for some time. It was strengthened somewhat in the last contract that if you were violated in the remaining 2 days of your 9/5 week, you could file a grievance. I think the key word in that language is retaliation. If the company retaliates against you in the remaining 2 days, that's a very difficult thing to prove. And I don't have the case on hand, but I would hazard a guess that that was probably the issue. Um, so the answer to that is come negotiations in 2028, we're going to have to do something to tighten that up. We keep tweaking 9/5 over and over and over, and it doesn't seem to work because we don't have language that is concrete and black and white and puts the power in our hands and takes it out of the companies. And until we do, we're still going to be hammering them with grievances and fighting to get those grievances paid. And our members are going to be working more overtime than they may want. And so we're just going to have to do a better job next time.
All right, so we come to shout outs, and I'm going to be rude. I'm going to go first because my shout out's going to go to the Republic Waste Workers in Cumming, Georgia, not very far from me, actually, probably about a 10-minute drive. But those guys they were on strike for over 100 days. They won their contract. It's great. They got a great pay raise, and that company is ruthless and shitty. And I'm glad to see that the workers got what they deserve. So now I'm going to let my guest here have the next shout. Greg, shout outs. Who do you want to shout out?
I'm going to give a shout out to all the folks that are running in local elections. There's a ton of elections going on right now. Obviously, you and I both stay away from politics in general here and elsewhere for the most part, but it's part of the democratic process. And whether you are for somebody or against somebody or whatever that is, them running and people putting together slates and putting together teams and running and keeping everybody honest is part of the process and part of what makes the Teamsters Union, the best union in the country. And that process should be respected. And the people who are willing to step up and put themselves out there should be congratulated for doing so, right or wrong, win or lose, however it plays out. And so my hat is off to all of them. Anybody who chooses to run, anybody who puts their name out there, and anybody who has an idea to make things better for their fellow members, deserves praise in my book.
I love seeing local elections that are ran cleanly, and it's for the right reasons. It's for trying to improve what's going on with the membership, what ideas they can bring to the table to help out. The mudslinging, the stupid stuff that we see on Facebook sometimes is so childish, and it puts a bad look on our organization. But I would say majority of everybody out there does it the right way. And I think it's great to see that democracy in our union exists. We're in a lot of unions that doesn't exist. So my hat's off to that. And as Greg said, these people that stick their necks out and do this stuff, I mean, I commend them on it. It's really cool to see. As long as they're doing it cleanly. That's all I'm saying. But if you can, be sure to check out the Teamster Media Hub on Facebook. Greg Kerwood runs it. He does a great job on that. And that's all I got, everybody. Love you, and I'll see you next time.